warahmatullah. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity today to shed some light on Aghthia's experience and innovation. To follow up on what Her Excellency Minister Maryam mentioned on innovation and the importance of innovation, I would like to take you through the journey of Agthia that happened in the last 5 years. How we worked on it, what are the triggers for doing that, and how did the market react to this. And I thought to share this experience with my colleagues since the intention is really to drive innovation wheel further in UAE. So what happened in the last few years? We all know that the consumer is changing. They're changing habits, changing preferences, lots of triggers. Social media was one of the triggers. Availability of information is another trigger. And consumers are getting bored as well, with the products that they already know. So they're looking for something different all the time. Also, in a country like UAE, where demography plays a major role, 200 nationalities in here, different ages, different educational levels, and so on. All that, of course, leads to a variety of big demand on variety of food. And also the continuous pressure on food transparency and safety. That continues on us and pushes the bar even higher, towards higher, better standards as well. All of these are pressures that we are faced on us as an industry. And as His Excellency Abdullah just mentioned now, and Sheikh Mohammed mentioned that we have to transform problems to an opportunity. That's what we have done in Agthia. So what did we do? We went direct to the consumer. We spoke to the consumer. We built the experience that we wanted to build, and gain the information from the consumer on what are they really looking for, what is really demanded now. That was a very important building block for us to pursue our innovation cycle. And then we went back we reflected on our products. We started to look, are we really bringing the right value that the consumer is looking for? Is it really built in, or it's just a perception? That's something that we had to look into. So items like what are the ingredients we're using, what type of packaging we're using, the sustainability of that. All of this is quite important, and we had to reflect on that one from our side. So it was very apparent to us that it's very, very crucial for us to invest in R&D, and it has to be organic R&D. It's very important to be organic. It has to be in-house, that we have to build it ourselves, block by block, because leadership, in a market, especially the food industry, dictates that we push the bar further and further. And if we would just rely on more Me Too's, to bring to the market, I think that there will be a slight delay in terms of what the customer or the consumer is going to get, and whether that's the adaptability of that to the region that we have. So we have built one of the first R&D centers in UAE that we are quite proud of, and we have invested into good personnel that today has evolved into one of the centers that has announced many patents in the food industry. And I will walk you through that experience and what we've done. So going back to our experience, and based on the feedback that we got, we went in actually 2015. One of the first triggers that we wanted to push was to focus on the issue of hypertension and the issue of sodium. So we went back and we managed to produce the first zero sodium water, which is popular today under Align Zero. And the experience was quite interesting. It was, of course, there was lots of many products in the market talking about low sodium and so on. So we said, okay, why don't we raise the bar and just push it to something that's totally zero sodium? And that's what we've done, and it has been quite successful to us. 2015, it was zero sales. Today, we're looking at plus or minus 70 million dirhams that are coming from that particular sale. with a 5% market share. So we can say today that today we have created a new category called zero sodium, basically within the bottled water industry. So that was one of the good experiences that we managed to push innovation cycle in. We continued the cycle further, and we continued to develop further products. And again, they're built on need, built on requirement. So the second product that we spent about 3 or 4 years of R&D work on was vitamin D. And for that, it evolves from the need of deficiency that we have in the region over here of vitamin D, where most houses today have that problem. And we thought, how can we have vitamin D, the vitamin available to the consumers while they are hydrating with all the benefits. I mean, without any colors, any flavors, any tastes, etc., and so on. So it will be good for the children, it will be good for the elderly, and so on. And from a technical perspective, that is quite difficult to establish because vitamin does not dissolve in water; it dissolves only on fat base. So that was one of the challenges that we faced, and this is where the patent has moved into developing this technology, and we managed to produce this water, and we have filed the patent on this one and the technology. Then, of course, the cycle continues. We managed to produce more value-added water like zero bromate and Bambini water for babies with added benefits in terms of sterilization and removal of certain ingredients that might be harmful for babies and infants. And we focus on our natural water, the alkalinity of our natural waters as well. The cycle continues. One of the innovation sides also that we focus on, not only on the product itself, but also on the packaging and the use. And so we looked at the sustainability of packaging as well. And that triggered something that I will share with you that we announced recently. But driving sustainability in packaging led us to evolving the water on the water transportation into what we call bag and box, basically. So we produced the first water bag in a box, and this comes from sustainability point of view in terms of 100% recyclable packaging material, and also it helps the transportation and from a logistical point of view. Another area that, of course, I mean, we all heard about the sin tax and the sugar tax that's coming as well, and we triggered the work with our partners Capri-Sun long time ago to reduce sugar and push the limits of sugar year on year to handle the requirement. Of course, I mean, we did not expect that the tax will come and cater for we expected a similar system to come to what was being mentioned in the UK. But the announcement came that it will be on full sugar. We are still working with the government now, trying to understand more and more about the sugar tax. But there has been lots of work that's been done when it comes to sugar and juices. Another area of development and innovation that we managed to build is in the pasteurization area, and to handle and address a point of food waste, which is an important element to us. Most of fresh produce today, they suffer from a 3-day shelf life, if not less. So the idea was, how can we produce juices that sustain all the benefits with longer shelf life without adding any preservatives in there? So we came with we brought in a technology, it's called high pressure, pasteurization pressure technology, where we pasteurize by pressure rather than heat. And this has led us to produce fresh products in the market that has sustained and retained the vitamins in it for longer shelf lives. So in UK, for example, the shelf life for HPP technology now has reached up to 6 months. In UAE still, I mean, with ESMA now we're working on 30 days, but we're trying to push the bar high more. And again, this helps the food waste element from that perspective. The product has been well received, especially by the schools and the Ministry of Education, and we are pushing it through for our children as well. A recent innovation that we came up with, also driven by a requirement, and as we all know, Lactose intolerant is a big issue for Middle Eastern people and Asian people in particular. And the milk, lactose-free, was available in the market for a while, but we didn't see any innovation that went to the yogurt. So yogurt was one of the areas that's lacking. So we went and we produced that with our partners, Yoplait, and it's in the market and has been a good success for us. We didn't limit our innovation only to waters and dairy, but we continued that as well into the flour. Flour has evolved. A few years ago, we were a company with very few SKUs when it comes to flour. Today, we have more than 50 SKUs from an innovation perspective. Last innovation that we had was adding the vitamin D to the flour and having a fortified flour. And this is quite important and was technically difficult because baking vitamins would become an issue in terms of retaining the vitamins into the baked goods. However, we managed that, and that's one of the successes that we managed recently as well. We continue the same cycle as well, to do innovation into our animal feed. I can spend another half an hour just talking about animal feed and all the products that we managed to do. In a nutshell, I would say today the farmer is benefiting from a big benefit of reduced mortality rate when it comes to their flock or animals, etc., because of the innovations that we've done on there. And that this merely comes on focusing on the gut health. Without adding any additives, we managed to increase the immunity of the animal, and then the animal sustains a better life, basically. And this is the secret of the animal feed that we'll do and the innovation. Last but not least, we just announced recently the new R&D and packaging and the new packaging center that we just opened in Al Ain recently, and His Excellency Thanis Yudi we were blessed by his visit and opening the center. And what is behind this, and this is available, by the way, to all of us. The innovations that we produce in here, we are happy to share with all our colleagues in the industry. And the drive is really to focus on the sustainability issue in packaging. And when it comes to packaging, we understand that there is lots of regulation when it comes to plastic and single-use plastic as well. We heard announcements of changes from major consumers like Dubai Airport, for example. And I'm happy to say that we have a lot in the pipeline in terms when it comes to the innovation and the packaging side, and that will go to the market soon. In a nutshell, I want to go back and reflect to Your Excellency, what you mentioned. Innovation is a key element, for us. Innovation is what really distinguishes us as an industry. This is where we see ourselves. This is what we'll keep sustaining our companies in the business for future to come. Without innovation, we'll be another Me Too. We'll be exposed to cycles of price, competition, etc., and so on. And we won't be able to catch up with the wave. So having said that, I think it's a very important message for us to understand. And the consumers do appreciate that. They take it and they're looking forward to it. So it's worth investing. We just need to know how to do it, basically. Thank you so much.